I'm filming this video in the spring of 2020, a unique and challenging time for our society. For many organizations, contingency plans are being put to the test. The circumstances are a great reminder that these plans have tremendous value when we're faced with the unexpected. All things equal, organizations that developed these plans in advance will fare better than those that did not. COVID-19 wasn't the first disruptor, and it won't be the last. As our society recovers, organizations should use this as a learning experience and enhance their contingency plans for the future. In this video, I'll be focusing on one of the most important aspects of a strong contingency plan, a business impact analysis. The business impact analysis, or BIA, is a foundational element of a contingency plan. The purpose of the exercise is to identify your organization's missional functions and processes and to assess the potential impact of their disruption. Then, you'll prioritize resources for recovery in a way that minimizes the impact to missional functions. Now, there's an important distinction here. The BIA cannot be created from the bottom up. Rather, it has to align all resource prioritization to missional functions and their criticality. When conducting a BIA, plan to involve leaders and stakeholders from across your organization. This will help ensure that those missional functions are consistently and correctly identified. Once missional functions are identified, the next step is to conduct impact assessments for each of them. The idea behind the impact assessment is to identify exactly what happens if each of those functions is disrupted. It's useful to rely upon more than one type of impact assessment. For example, consider financial impact, which tends to compare very well between organizational units. It's also useful to consider the element of time, because impact severity is rarely linear with time. It's a good idea to conduct your assessment at multiple time durations. One more suggestion here. I recommend operating under the assumption that your function will be disrupted at the worst possible time. Now, while that won't always be the case, conducting the assessment this way helps remove a variable that can otherwise cause inconsistency. The next important step in your BIA is to identify your organization's maximum tolerable downtime for each missional function. Plan to make this decision using the output from your impact assessments in coordination with function owners and stakeholders. Consistency is really important here. Make sure to use similar selection criteria across the organization. Your response here is what will drive resource recovery prioritization later in the contingency plan. In addition to selecting the maximum tolerable downtime, you'll also want to identify the recovery point objective for each missional function. This selection designates how much data loss tolerance is acceptable in the event of a function disruption. Once you have a maximum tolerable downtime for each missional function, it's finally time to turn towards resource recovery prioritization. For each missional function, identify all resource dependencies. Of course, you'll want to consider technology, infrastructure, applications, and data, but don't overlook dependencies on people. This is especially timely to consider as we think about the current viral outbreak. As you prioritize resources, you'll likely find that many of them are shared between missional functions. Just make sure that you have a consistent way to prioritize them. For example, you may choose to prioritize based on the most extreme downtime requirement of all associated functions. After completing your resource recovery prioritization, you'll need to ensure that the resource-specific response plans allow for recovery in a time that supports the function's maximum tolerable downtime. This is called the recovery time objective, and for each resource, it will almost always be lesser than its function's maximum downtime. This is necessary in order to accommodate dependencies and to cover testing. If you've made it this far, you will have completed your organization's business impact analysis, and you'll be able to move forward with the bulk of your contingency planning. I'll save that for the next video. I hope this was a helpful reminder as to the importance of the BIA and contingency planning in general. If your organization could use some help conducting a BIA or developing contingency plans, our QFrame team would be privileged to assist you. We have experienced advisors as well as a variety of documents and templates which can help make the exercise more efficient. Stay safe out there. We hope to speak with you soon.